Now introductions can begin. So Jay, Julius, and then Bryce, can you tell us who you are and what, just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thanks for having me. My name is Jay Kuntz, and I am a painting and remodeling contractor with J&J Construction Painting and Remodeling. I'm also been a builder for the last 5 years. Currently doing like 3 homes in Blair, and then I have 7 duplexes going up after that over in the Irvington area. And I'm also with I'm a realtor for the past 3 years with Nebraska Realty. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Julius?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Julius Davis with Davis Contracting. We are a Class A primarily residential builder. We do commercial projects, but our primary focus has been residential for the past 5 years. We do everything from new builds to remodels to office space.
Thank you. And Bryce?
I'm Bryce Danielson. I am with Blair Freeman. I am a project manager on the owner's representative side. So I manage projects anywhere from small residential housing to large commercial buildings. And I've been with Blair Freeman for 7 months now.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. So I've had the opportunity to work kind of with all 3 of these individuals, and essentially Jay considers himself a builder, Julius is a general contractor, and Bryce is on the team as an owner's rep. And I've got to work in different facets with all of these, with all of them. And I just want to open up a couple of questions and kind of I'll just start with the next question. So can you tell me what experience or certifications do you have to do in order to be in the position that you are? And if we follow the same protocol, it can go Jay,
Okay.
Julius, and Bryce.
Well, it kind of depends on where you are at, but I have a Class C license with the City of Omaha, and that allows me to all the way up to building a home, and then even a little bit of like multifamily to a certain extent. I can't do like a big apartment complex on my own. So that requires, well, it didn't used to in the past, but now it requires a very kind of difficult test from a very large book that you have to know and be able to pass with the City of Omaha. And then kind of like as a realtor, you have to have certain CU hours every 3 years to maintain your license. You have to have insurance to build a home. You have to have builder's risk. So that's all the certifications, but that's mainly in the City of Omaha. As you go far out, there's certain areas where you only have to have insurance and maybe like a contractor certificate. In some of these smaller towns, like I just helped a guy do a little house in like Missouri Valley, and they don't require anything, like at all, insurance or anything. So it kind of depends on the jurisdiction of where you're at.
So what I hear you're saying is Omaha is quite, has lots of restrictions and certification requirements, whereas more rural areas don't necessarily follow the same.
Right, which actually, as a contractor, you appreciate it when Omaha does that. I mean, it can be a little messy with the inspections and all that kind of stuff, but it does help weed out and some of the people that really shouldn't be doing jobs, and makes you like, a little bit feel a little more accomplished as you can, like, you've put in the time and the effort to earn those certifications. So, I mean, it is good to have those things, and it raises the quality of the workmanship, I think, too. So.
True.
Yeah.
All right, Julius.
Oh yes, just to echo him, and it is a license that we have. Even his Class C is a license. So no, it's a licensing that we do take. Ours is a Class A. I did do the C before, which is a residential. That's why our focus was there. But now we're kind of looking in a different direction, and the Class A was definitely necessary. So that covers you from pretty much a skyscraper on down.
Mhm.
So we have the ability to do kind of whatever, but.
So there's a class A, there's a class B,
B, yep.
and there's a class C.
And it used to be a D, but they kind of phased that out. And that was for like woofers and just different smaller things that didn't really require, but they kind of phased that out now. So typically with the, especially with Omaha and Lincoln and just the bigger cities, you better have something. Otherwise, you kind of just find it as, you know.
Got it. Bryce.
Yeah, so since we are more of just managing all of the parties and not necessarily building, we're not required to have any of the licenses. It's more of just having the general knowledge of the pre-construction phases and the construction phases. And then we require our employees to have OSHA certification just for safety purposes too, but other than that, no licensing requirements.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's awesome. And as developers, a lot of individuals know that as long as you have the money, you can start developing anything. Access to the land, access to the property, access to the capital gets you a lot of different ways with no certification or licenses by any means. But what I'm hearing is that for our builder and the general contractor, those licenses are imperative and certifications are imperative in order for you to actually build and implement something there. Oh, sorry. Jay, you consider yourself a builder. What do you mean? What do you think that entails for yourself?
Wow, that's a big question.
It is. Mhm.
It's usually building, well, I'm usually building means from the ground up. A lot of times there's kind of two different ways you can do it. You can have a client that is there from the start, that you're helping them, or they come to you with a plan. And this is the house that we want to build. We want you to help us find like the lot that's big enough for the plan that we picked out and price it out from digging the hole, the foundation, all the way through. Then there's the other option of building like a spec home, which is the ones that I'm doing right now in Blair. I'm just building 3 homes that are pretty much the same. I picked out the lot, I picked out the plan, I'm building it, I'm choosing everything, and then at the end, I'm putting it up for sale. So that's pretty much, but as far as building, it's pretty much you have a plan and you're starting from the bulldozer showing up to dig a hole and a survey company coming to stake out where you're going to dig that hole, and then raising up the whole build and putting in the grass and, you know, from the floor to the ceiling, everything complete.
So are you also preparing the land in order to make sure that it meets the needs, or is that something that's already done by the time you acquire your lot?
It depends. Some people have land already.
Mhm.
It just kind of depends on each client. Some people have like, you know, these new neighborhoods open up and sometimes you have to get a lot before, you know, within 6 months or that's all sold out. So sometimes people will have like be sitting on a lot for like a year or two, which I think sometimes they have like 2 years to build on it. So every client is different, but it is very, very important, right, that the land meets the needs. I mean, if you just think back a couple years from Iron Horse and that nightmare out there, it's very important to make sure that the land is able to support what you're going to build.
Agreed. I have a follow-up question, but I'll keep going. Julius, what about you? Will you consider yourself a general contractor? Tell us more about what that entails.
Well, it's kind of the same thing as Jay just said. I guess if you want to add a little bit more complexity to it, you can play multiple different roles. It's kind of like governing over a property. Kind of everyone, I'm the overseer over the whole project. So from the plumber to the HVAC to the electrician, the concrete guys, everyone kind of comes to me, and I'm their kind of checks and balances. in that sense. But yeah, it's kind of this. It's the same thing.
Okay, so I will say that out of Jay and Julius's positions, that's the one that people get used synonymously. Like, I'm a builder or
Yep.
I'm a general contractor. So what would you say the difference between the two is?
Well, when I've heard in previous times a builder, in other words, I typically hear home builder applying strictly to homes. And when you hear the general contractor term, although it applies to homes as well, you can use it synonymously with a commercial project. You are the GC on the project, so this is your project. Although at the house, it's your project too, but on the building, that's kind of, it's just a play on words.
So it provides more flexibility. Jay, did you have something to add there?
No, I agree with that. I mean, right. I would say a builder is more like constructing like a new house. A general contractor can be like remodeling an existing home, flip houses, all that kind of stuff is more maybe like a general contractor does that. You don't necessarily, well, when times are lean, you get some builders doing those projects. But usually that's like a general contractor.
And then Bryce, you consider yourself an owner's rep. What does that even mean? I know what it means, but I'm putting it in your corner. What does it even mean?
I'm not even sure if I know what it means. So the owner's representative position, there's a lot of different tasks that we do, but for the most part, I think the easiest way to explain it is if you're a developer or you're an owner who wants to do something, and all you have right now is just a napkin sketch of, a dream of something that you want to do. You would come to a company like mine, and we would help you basically get from the napkin to you basically moving in, whether that's a new home or commercial project. So we'll help you get your budgets ready, help you find an architect, and engineers, help you find the land that you need, rezone it, hire the general contractor. We're kind of just the managing partner of all the different parties that are involved to basically help you through this process.
So you will help. So to put it all into something. So Jay, do you have ownership of the land, or do you ever take ownership of any of the pieces within the phases that you touch?
When I'm building a spec house, I own the land. A lot of times you use the ownership of the land to secure your construction loan. That's the way I do it most of the times. And then my construction loan is purchasing all the materials and paying all the contractors. So I pretty much, when I'm building a spec home, I own all of it. But when it's like a owner that comes to me, they might have their own land. And then sometimes they have their own construction loan. And then actually that bank is kind of managing the project. They send out their own inspectors before they release any money to make sure that the work is done and done right. So it just kind of depends on if I'm building a spec home or if I'm working for an owner.
What about you, Julius? At any point in time, do you own any part of the process? The land or the?
No,
Simple
we're
as that.
there. Yeah, we're there to provide the service, and once we're done, we leave.
And Bryce is shaking his head, so it's kind of the same, right? So
Yeah.
go ahead. So this actually goes to my next question about money and budgeting and pro formas and all of the things that you would have to know. So through the Developer Academy, we have a huge focus on pro formas or cash flow analysis and so forth, so that individuals are able to go to a lender and to apply for funding. What part of that financial process do you play a role in? And sometimes we hear about like a general contractor having their own budget and then making a bid that will fit between within the performa guidelines? Jay, is you just oversee all of it? Or Bryce, do you help individuals create what that looks like? What is your role in the financial aspects of it all?
For me, if it's my own stuff, then I'm just, like I said, I buy the land and then the bank uses the land as collateral for my construction loan. And they actually like write all the checks to the contractors. And what's nice about mine is that I can just send them pictures. So they don't have to do added costs of sending an inspector. But as far as like someone that comes to me, I don't really have much to do with the financials. I can recommend a couple people to them, but a lot of times they already have a relationship with their own bank. But otherwise, I just recommend them to a couple people that I trust to get their construction loan.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Well, it sounds like Jay he has many hats.
Mhm.
He is the developer in that sense. Would you call yourself a developer in that sense then?
Well, I mean, the land is already developed and the streets are in and the utilities and all that, but I find the lots that I need to build the house that I want, and I purchase the land, the lots. So there's still a lot of developing that's done before I get there.
Okay.
I did get close to buying like a couple acres and doing all that stuff, but that may be, at the time, that was way over my head to do that.
Okay.
Because I don't even know what's all involved in developing an acreage of land to separate it into lots and to put the streets in and the utilities.
See, Angel, am I okay to talk? I'm just
You are perfectly fine. I think you're
that.
getting to the point that I want everybody to understand. So keep going.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So it's you see how in his role, he actually purchased the land, he builds the house, then he gets rid of the house, however that may be. I may be approached by a person to actually build the house. I don't purchase the land. I'm not trying to buy the land. I just perform my part and I go away. So it's kind of, you know, it's whatever way you want to do the project, I guess. You know what I mean? Because from my perspective, I'm not coming in as an investor. I'm coming in as basically like a service provider. It almost, to me, if I was in Jay's shoes, I would think I would be the investor. And I mean, because he's putting his own money up, right?
Yes,
Yes.
you do risk the money, but then you make the money. So like
Yeah.
the lots I'm doing right now, I bought them for 20,000. And so
Oh.
when I sell the house, I'll sell the land for 45. So yes, you do risk some, but then your reward is more. So you got to be careful though.
Yeah.
That's how a
Bryce,
lot of those builders went under, is that they had like 60 lots or 100 lots and 50 houses started, and then the market went down. And so you can get yourself into trouble real quick.
Okay. So from what I'm hearing from you, I'm sorry. I just want to ask one last question from hearing. As soon as the raw land or the land becomes available, that's when you're in to buy your share.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
And,
done.
and there's a lot of things that go with it, because some neighborhoods will only let a couple builders, they have a relationship with the developer already, and that's split between like 3 builders for the whole neighborhood. So
Wow.
you just got to find the right spot.
Nice.
Blair's pretty hot right now, so that's why I went there.
Okay.
And the land's more affordable.
Bryce, you wanted to add something?
Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of a major part of why we are hired, is a lot of people don't understand that there is other costs besides just the construction cost of your building. There's a good chunk of costs before you even start construction, whether that's hiring your architect, whether that's getting the land, whether that's hiring the engineers, doing geotechnical analysis on all of your sites, having a backup maintenance fund that you're going to use once your building's up, your insurance fees, your legal fees, and that's kind of where we come in and help build your budget first before you go get your financing, so what is my overall cost going to be do I want to take a developer fee on this project? There's a lot more line items in our budget compared to, you know, the general contractor's budget.
Great addition. I would be interested in hearing from some of our Developer Academy graduates and distinction between what the developer does, then actually where the builder comes in, and then the hiring of a GC, and where does our owner's rep come into play? Because it seems like there's a lot of fluid opportunity through these roles. Yes, there's licenses for some, but not necessarily required for all. So when people start to think about real estate development, and are they really looking to be the developer that has to worry about the infrastructure and wants to make sure that the land is buildable and so forth? Or are you leaning towards more of being a builder or a general contractor? Or is it someone that's helping to facilitate over the entire process, such as the owner's rep? And then, of course, Julius, you are more than welcome to ask as many questions as you want, including everyone else on the call. If you are shy and don't want to speak, please feel free to put it in the chat and I will read those out loud for you. Otherwise, there is the raise your hand feature, because we want to make sure that you're getting the information that you need from this. I know these guys pretty well and their roles pretty well, so I am just instigating questions. I really want them to authentically come from all of you. So if there's a question out there, feel free to speak up. See, it's the pause. They say you have to do it, so I will continue.
Where are all these graduates at? Where's their questions? Come on.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I can
Go
throw
ahead,
them out
Mike.
there. So this is kind of a question to Bryce. But how do owners rep fees and like payment structures differ than general contractors fees and structures based on projects? As a developer, you know, I'm seeking out architects and engineers and civil, etc. But where does that kind of differ between the two?
Yeah, so for our owner's rep side, we give a proposal and it's just a monthly fee that we charge. And our main goal is to manage the other people's fees, you know, make sure they're not charging more than they should have, make sure you're competitively bidding between your general contractors and your architects, so that you're getting the best price you can. You know, and then the architects and engineers, they usually bill at milestones. So once they're done with the schematic phase, they'll bill you for that, then design development, and construction documents. And then, you know, the general contractors, they'll have that monthly pay application that they'll send out. And at least for the owner's rep side, the general contractor will pay, or will send the pay out to us. As an owner's rep, we'll review it. So we're kind of that safety net for you to kind of review and make sure everything's correct and running smoothly. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. So then your fee might be based on total project cost of
Yeah,
architects.
we're usually a percentage of the overall cost.
Okay, gotcha. And then the difference is general contractors is based on a fee based on their work that they're performing.
Yep, just the construction cost.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Great question, Mike. Jay, who pays you? Are you paid directly from the bank through someone's construction loan, or what does that even look like for you?
Yes, usually through the bank. It depends. Like every once in a while, you'll just get someone that says, I have cash to pay for it all. And then it's set up in milestones, like what different stages of the work complete. And I just meet the owner over there and show them and what's complete and make sure that they see everything that's done before they release the money. But usually I'm working with a bank loan, whether it's my personal bank loan that I set up or the owner's, my client's construction loan. So I'm dealing with whoever's in charge of that loan at the bank, and we work hand in hand, and I'm either sending them pictures of the work completed or they're sending out their inspector and I meet them there to see the work completed. And then, right, I get a check from the bank.
Are you the same, Julius, or is it a little different?
Yeah, it's the same, but we can go through the bank on like his side if they have a construction loan or just directly through the owners. Yeah.
Awesome. We do have a question in the chat. What is the most challenging part in each of your roles as the builder, contractor, or owner's rep? You all smile.
Oh, shoot.
Where do you begin? I mean, I think it's just really just entrepreneurship as a whole is a challenge. Because you gotta earn. You gotta get out there and you gotta sell. You know, money just isn't falling out the sky, so you gotta sell if you want to run a business. So that's probably, I would say, the constant, because you have overhead, you got bills, you got office people you gotta pay, and the guys out on the field if you have those as well. So for us, that's probably the biggest. We can fulfill the job, but just gotta keep your business running.
Jay?
Yeah, I agree with that. Another one to add on to that is like, we're pretty much managing people all the time. And just like we are not perfect. I'm not perfect. The people that are doing my jobs, they'll do an amazing job, every job for the last 8 years. And then the job they did last week is a nightmare. So it's just like, and the people that we're working for, they're not perfect. And so I had a really good example. I just did a huge project for a guy, and these people were so particular about this fireplace in their basement, right? And making it perfect, and nothing was ever right. And they finally just got the whole thing, all their furniture in. It's about 6 months ago that we got finished, and they had me over, and then, they had a drink for me, and we sat there and they were like, this house is so perfect. We love it. But during the process, if I would have let that get me so upset that I said things I regretted, I burned a bridge, then we would have never had this time 6 months after where they just loved it. And just trying to keep that in mind in every situation, that we got to like breathe, let these situations pass. I'm not perfect. They're not. The workers aren't. But we can get through this and we can finish and you will love it. But sometimes in that moment, you just got to be able to like keep your head and keep your calm, even though you could be completely right. They could be completely right. Just to be able to like, manage people and realize that we're not perfect, but we do all have a common goal of being honest and doing our job right. And it will be done and you will love it. You just got to like go to sleep tonight and let's start again tomorrow. And that's not always easy to do. It's not easy. And managing that many people, I'm sure you guys know too, it's just, we're not perfect. But we just got to be kind and have grace and patience. And it's not always easy to do.
I love that. Managing expectations.
Yeah.
Bryce?
Yeah, I would kind of echo that. In the owner's rep positions, we hire and manage a wide range of parties that are all working towards one goal. So one thing that we try to do is, if there is an issue on site or the drawings, it's kind of take a collaborative approach, not oh, you did this, you need to fix it. It's like, okay, what can we do to resolve the issue? And I'd say the most challenging part is just managing those expectations. When someone says they commit to something, just making sure that they hold true to that.
Great advice. So it sounds like you all wear many hats, but if you didn't have to do all of the positions and play all of the roles, what do you feel, or who else do you feel needs to be on your team in order to make your vision happen? So Jay, you spoke of buying the land and building the spec house. But if you didn't have to do all of those roles, who are the other named professionals that would help you successfully help others?
I have worked with a company kind of like Bryce's where I feel they like help take some of the responsibility off of us. Which is nice because sometimes when you're working for an owner, having them call me every single time about every little thing, it's like I can't best build your home and kind of like hold your hand or answer every question you have at the same time. It's very hard. You're making it very difficult on me to give you a high quality project if I have to do both of these things all the time. If there's set times, obviously, you know, but having somebody else that can help you with the client relation part of it, ooh, that would like anything that helps me concentrate on really what I want to do. Because really, that's why I do a spec house. I really just want to build the house. And yes, that maybe limits me clients wise. I build for a couple people, but I usually do spec houses. So having somebody help me with that takes a lot of burden and pressure off of me.
So because no one has asked what a spec house is it safe to assume that everybody is understanding what that is and how he then replicates that over? Okay, great. Julius, what about you?
Well, considering that we are, the audience is developers, that will be a true key component. We would complement each other. That would be like the dream team if a general contractor like myself is working directly with the developer, because they have the project that they want to fulfill. We want something to build. So it's a win-win. They're kind of going before us, getting all those things set up like supposed to, and then we're here to make it happen. So I would say the developer would be the big dog. The big dog. If
The
it was a
boss that
strategic,
you
yeah,
had.
yeah.
Okay. And Bryce, you mentioned a few people, but who do you work with? Who do you think then completes the rest of this development team?
Yeah, so mine's more on the pre-construction side is where I would love to have someone help, and it's more on the financing side. And we have a lot of clients who apply for grants, so grant writing, I would love to love to have someone help out there. So if I had to bring someone in, it'd be more on the financing and that portion of it.
So here are some positions that I've heard. Please correct me if I'm wrong or if anybody else has any questions, but the developer is the individual that acquires the land and then ensures that it is feasible, ready and viable for construction or whatever the plan is, whatever the overall vision is. If it is a residential subdivision of some sort or infill development, they could get a builder. But before even that, they would need to have an architect, an engineer, a general contractor, maybe someone that oversees client relations, someone like a grant writer or someone that oversees financials, but then also your owner's reps. Anybody else have any other professions that they feel are pretty important into this team? I have one on the call. Guillermo Diaz actually is a teammate of Spark, and he oversees our Spark Capital Loan Fund. And I would say for the general purpose, for usual purposes, our lender is pretty important for the entire totality of the project. So having a good relationship with the lender. Who else? And we go through this in Developer Academy. So unless everybody is super shy or driving or in another meeting and just want to be a part of the recording, there has to be someone that knows
I
that.
truly think that it's a part of which position that you're coming from. Everyone is in a different, well, obviously the panel is on different roles that we play in producing this product that we're trying to do, whether if it's a multifamily or a house. But for the audience, that's what I'm saying. For the audience, um, if they're all developers, I would say, just in my opinion, like it seems like the developer needs. It's probably the number one need is money, and getting access to capital and hard money, just money to actually fund the deal. I mean, that's it. If you got the money, everybody else is happy, right?
True.
I think for each, so like as an owner or developer, you need a project manager, which is kind of like an owner's rep, but not just to do all the work, but just to babysit your GC and your architect. And then the GC needs a project manager. So I feel like multiple levels need project management as well.
Great addition. Thank you for that. There is a question in the chat that says, what does your team structure look like right now? And or folks you are working along with, what does their team structure look like? Or are you a one-person show?
Well, start. So at least for me, there's 3 people on our owner's rep side, and I would say we all have our strengths and weaknesses. We all have our different strengths in different areas. So on each project, we all kind of tag team in certain areas, but there's one main person who will lead the project, who will lead all the coordination aspects. But then if someone's more strong suited in design, they'll kind of pop into those meetings, make sure design's moving along. If someone say it's financing, the financing person kind of come in and help manage those expectations too. But we're not a very big team for the amount of projects that we have.
Jay, Julius?
I am, actually, my dad just retired, so I am kind of like a one-person team, but I am far from alone. I couldn't build a home without a great team of contractors that I've worked with for a long time. Every once in a while, someone messes up and I have to kick them out, but no, they have grace for me, and so I have grace for them. But no, I have a great team of contractors that I've worked with for a long time that do everything from the ground up. I trust them on my job sites. We've built many houses before. So I am like the only like official employee, but I have a great team that, and I actually have a couple other builders that are building in Waterloo and Blair and other places that I can always contact and ask for help.
So we have administrative staff here, and we hire carpenters. So we got 4 in-house carpenters as well. So outside of our subcontractors, we self-perform some of the jobs and some of the work on the job. So we kind of pick and choose based on the demand if we want to do it ourselves, or do we want to bring in some of the subs to do some of the portions that are maybe too big.
Because sometimes you have to delegate and offer that opportunity
yeah.
for others in order to build capacity,
Yep.
for sure. Any questions from anyone else? Great question, Sonia. Tell me about your greatest accomplishment. What is something that you're super proud of thus far?
I got 2 great kids. That's way more
Nothing to
important
do with
than-
building.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I've been building into them for now 16 and 13 years. So, I mean, that's probably way more, than anything. But I'll tell you what, I grew up in North Omaha. There's 5 kids in our family. My mom used to like make our clothes. We kind of think about these things when my brothers and sisters and I get together. Like we used to have, I don't know if you remember like government cheese. We used to have government cheese. We used to have people that, thank God, like brought groceries and put them on our doorstep. So, I mean, to see, and my parents did amazing sacrifices, and we were never without anything for sure. But now I live out in West Omaha. I never even thought this was even possible. I was always happy with just, having food on the table and my kids having clothes, and so I can't even imagine what I'm even able to have in my life now, and obviously none is as important as my children are, but it's amazing what sacrifice your parents did, and a lot of hard work, and yes, making mistakes along the way. I made plenty of them, but putting in hard work and surrounding yourself with good people, I mean, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Very cool.
Yep.
What about you, Julius? Any good accomplishments regarding general contracting?
Well, I say, one that sticks out probably for us is, we've been, this is our 6th year in business and just striving every year and doing better and better every year. That's probably our soul. It's a lot of competition out there, and you got to push and shove if you want to make your way in this industry. And any business outside of 5 years is like, okay, we've hit a milestone. We're here to stay. Let's keep the ball rolling now. So when we went past that 5-year mark and knowing that we're profitable, we're healthy, that was pretty big for us. We're here to stay.
Nice. Bryce?
Yeah, so I'm very new to the industry. So I don't know if I necessarily have a big one yet. But I would say the biggest thing since coming to Blair Freeman is we've been growing our owners representation side like crazy. We're getting a lot of people just by word of mouth coming to us wanting to use us, which is always a good thing. And you don't have to go seek jobs. People want to come work with you just because of the culture that we've created. And, just working with various owners around them.
Okay, you two are very humble, or you three are very humble. I have seen the work that Jay has done. And I feel like even the spec homes are pretty darn good, right? And being able to then customize or how many houses do you build, do you think, in a year, Jay?
I try to keep it low key. I would say like 5 to 8. Otherwise, it's too much stress on it. I would have to bring on staff and stuff like that. So keeping it small is plenty enough profit for me.
Guess how many houses I've built this year, Jay? 0.
0.
So it's not a small feat, okay? That's a huge accomplishment to be able to know the dynamics that we have with supplies and overseeing construction and so forth. That 5 to 8 is a fantastic number. Julius, you are super humble, and I don't know why these numbers are coming to me like 2907. I don't know if you had anything to do with that. Can you please share a little bit more?
Yeah, so we did our project with Blair Freeman and Bryce. 2907 was a good build. We're kind of, I guess, trying to plow our way through the industry and claim our own lane, so to speak. We just landed like a good good sized commercial project, so I'm pretty proud of that. But like you said, the residential is our go-to. We do a lot of additions. We got a couple of additions going on right now too. And to be honest, like the additions can cost just as much as the house, if not
Yep.
more sometimes. And it's
Mhm.
just like, whoa. And some people, when they're calling about additions, they just don't realize the complexity. And then they always say, well, I could buy a house for that. And I'm like, well, you should. But
Yep.
yeah, we are definitely trying to put our stakes in the ground and strive through the industry.
Awesome. For context, Julius and his team did build a house from basement up, 2907 Parker Street. It's a initiative from the 75 North Highlander revitalization efforts. So he's humbly saying that, but it's a whole beautiful house that I've walked through several times. Bryce, do I need to allude to more of the work that you've been doing besides the fact that you're growing your owner's rep? Can you tell me a little bit more? Otherwise, I'll throw it out
Yeah.
there. if you need to.
So I kind of told Julius, but he's gonna do 3 more houses for us soon, so that'll be fun. But yeah, we're doing kind of a lot of projects around the northern Omaha area. A lot of areas that it's tough to get investment in. We're kind of breaking through those barriers a little bit. And we're going to be building a 4-story office building, a 4-story residential building on 24th and Lake. That'll hopefully be starting this year. We're going to be doing probably 30 more homes this year. And then just a bunch of projects throughout Omaha and Sarpy County and things like that. So.
Very cool. We did have another question pop up in the chat. Where do you see your companies growing in the next 5 years? Do you see yourself staying local or expanding outside of Omaha? I know, Jay, you've already mentioned that you are in the Blair and possibly Missouri Valley because the certification, lack of need for certification there. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, just I would say, well, a lot of it is expanding outside of the Omaha area, or like you're talking about, revitalizing some of the older parts of Omaha. So that's probably where I see myself going, is more like Blair, possibly north of Omaha. There's still, I know I was just driving through there. There's a lot of empty lots still in like pockets of neighborhoods there and stuff like that too, that need to be built on. So that's probably where I see myself in the next 5 years.
Julius?
So definitely staying in Omaha. Let's see. Well, I got a wonderful partner that's on the line too. She's a developer. Nadra Davis up there, so she has some things in the some pans in the fire that we're trying to ramp up on, and see if we can't get some development going as well. Yeah, but if I could throw a slight plug for all the developers out there, if you're really serious about getting some projects going, reach out. Never know what may happen.
I agree. And Bryce, I know you don't own Blair Freeman, but I feel like there's a great opportunity for you to speak on growth there.
Yeah. Omaha's our home. Will always be in Omaha, but in the next 5 years, I have a feeling we'll be expanding outside of the Omaha area. So it's exciting.
As it should be. That's super exciting. If we can give everyone a round of applause, Jay, Bryce, and Julius, we thank you so much. For all the rest of you, this session actually does go until 4 o'clock, and we will go into action mode for the second part of this. From the poll, the part that individuals didn't necessarily have was an actual team with context on what their development team needed to consist of, and then also more information about Spark itself. We did list 4 or 5, about 8 different roles that needed to, or professions that should be on your development team. And I can put that in the review because we will email this out to everyone that has attended today. And then it sounds like most individuals did know the difference between the builder, general contractor, and owner's rep. Before we say thank you again to our panelists, are there any last questions that you may have? Now, there's lots of people that actually registered and said, oh, I'll just listen to this. But the beauty of the build sessions is to actually build your portfolio in your own personal capacity. So in the future, just make sure that you know that we are asking you to come here so that we can actually constructively take away something through design. Jay, Bryce, Julius, any last things? Feel free to stick around if you can. You don't have to by any means, because we appreciate you taking this time with us. But any last things that you want to add?
Yeah, I would add, thank you very much. I had a great time. I appreciate it. And I'm the key to all this, I would say too, is an openness to learn. Like I'm still learning and I've learned it during this past hour and I really appreciate it. And yes, we need developers. We need people to like see the possibility in the raw land and, you know, put in the streets and the infrastructure. And we're open to working with them because we need the lots to build on. So like the boss said, you know, we want to, you know, anything we could do to help encourage developers and even partner with them, that would be amazing. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so what we'll do is we'll transition. It's about 2:59, so right at that time. Thank you again, Bryce. I'll be in touch. Jay, feel free to stick around if you want. Otherwise, feel free to leave. And Julius, everyone else, we will just take like 5 minutes so I can prepare for the second part of this, if that's okay. All right,
Thank you.
I will be back at
Thank you.
2 or 3:05. Thank you. All right, everyone. It's 3:05. I'm pretty cognizant of time because I love the opportunity for networking. So I just wanted to do a quick overview of Spark, and then we can get into some nitty-gritty parts of this. Welcome back, Jay. You're the only one showing your camera, and that's okay. So these build sessions are actually new to Spark this year. We saw that there was a need for more interaction and some actual tangible growth where people were creating plans from the information that was being provided. And so our build sessions are in between our deep dives. A deep dive is usually led by a professional on a content area that we cover within our developer academy. So we have performance, we do LIHTC. There is like applying for underwriting and lender and underwriting, and then reporting for this year. Our builds are specifically for the soft skills and the relationship building that we need. And so hopefully in the future, our build sessions will actually be in person and more interactive. And so this is what we will be doing here. So I actually want to see who actually is live and able to interact and who's actually just listening in. So if you are back, I would like to, there's the reactions on the bottom of your screen. If you can just give me a reaction that you actually are listening and able to participate in real time, that would be fantastic. Thank you, Andrea. Mike, wonderful. Wonderful, Lisa. Jay's figuring it out. Okay. So I'm assuming all the rest are not, because what I would like to do is actually do some work and to get some names on the board of what we've done, because that's what you came here for. We want you to create that team. So let's do some intros of the people that are here. Jay, we've learned a lot about you. But Andrea, who are you? What do you do? Tell us more.
So I can't really be called a developer because I don't develop land, but
Okay.
my husband and my partner and I, we take hotels and we convert them into multifamily buildings. So we are the owner, but I say developer, but we're not developing land.
So you don't necessarily have to be developing land. You just develop the vision and have to get all the zoning and so forth that equates to making that vision happen, correct?
Yeah.
So
And our two properties so far are both out of state. So we haven't done anything in Omaha. But my husband and I are trying to secure a lot right now to build a car wash here locally. So that's me.
very cool. I like it. Lisa, who are you? Tell us more.
Had to unmute it there. I'm actually a real estate agent. I'm in the residential and commercial realm, but I work directly with a developer and we're starting to partner on more projects. So I know a lot kind of, I guess, from the periphery, but just continuing to increase my knowledge. So some upcoming projects I'll be working on. There's a building in a small town in Southwest Iowa that was an old calendar company, and we're going to be working to redevelop that building. It's the Murphy Calendar Company. And then also with some stuff kind of in the north downtown area, I can't specifically say where, but hopefully kind of getting into some building in that arena in the next couple of years. So I'm just trying to gather more knowledge and learn.
Awesome. And Mike, you responded. What's going on with you? Or who are you?
Hello, I'm Mike Sullivan. I'm a developer working on 2 projects in Wahoo, Nebraska, tearing down a grocery store and putting up 63 units in its place. And then was awarded a project recently from the city to redevelop an old dormitory that's been shut down for like 50 years. Dormitory's trash, but we're gonna kind of scrape the inside and put in 12 to 13 studio efficiency apartment units, and then there's this green space that we're going to put in some townhomes. The next couple months, we'll be starting that project. Working through some financial headwinds right now, I guess you'd say politely, with financing the larger project, 63 units, which is kind of a bummer. You put in like 12 months of work and now interest rates suck. So working through those challenges right now, but they'll both get done. The timeline's just not what I want it to be, but that's life. So that's what I'm working on.
That developer
Yeah,
mindset we talked about.
appreciate this academy. It's been sweet. It's helped ignite a lot of these projects and build some confidence and get these things going. So
Awesome to hear. Nadra, who are you?
Sorry, my screen was small. Nadra Davis, currently work with my husband in our general contracting company, Davis Contracting, but I'm also a developer, have my development company started shortly after my developer academy graduation. So I do have a couple projects that I'm working on, trying to develop some land that's adjacent to our current building off of 26th and Florence Boulevard. So working on that, trying to get a couple duplexes built and a single family, but I'm working on getting funding for that. That's the biggest hurdle for developers, you guys, is finance, funding, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
That's great. Clarice, you made a comment, so I didn't want to overlook your opportunity to introduce yourself. She might be just listening in.
I am just listening. I'm sorry, my screen was like little too. I couldn't find it.
That's
But
okay.
I'm Clarice. I'm an urban development coordinator at Spark. I also spend a lot of time working with community members, community partners at Fabric Lab and doing projects related to the North Omaha Trail.
Thanks for
And I'm
joining.
just here to learn more about development and real estate and yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I know Laura said that she would be off camera, but Laura, did you want to introduce?
Yeah, I can do that quickly. So I'm Laura Shanerock. I am working on being a developer, I would say. So I am a public administrator. I've had several different roles, but I worked most recently in the homeless services space and then also with the land bank. And so putting those two things together, my business model is going to be developing properties for extremely low income folks in Omaha, like less than 30% AMI.
Thank you. Sonia, I think you're just listening in, and Guillermo, I do want to give the opportunity for you two to introduce yourselves if you are actively listening now. Hi, Guillermo.
Hey, everybody. My name is Guillermo Diaz. I am with the Spark, helping the developers in the community to help with some technical assistance and as well with some of the gap loan options that we have here available. Thank you for participating in this meeting, and thanks again, Angel.
My pleasure. It looks like we lost someone. I'm not quite sure who it was, but I am going to split us up. So I am going to put a list of roles into the chat box. And then I am going to break us into groups so that we can identify who those individuals are, whether it's someone that you have worked with in the past, or if it's someone that you have are looking to create a relationship with. I'm just typing up the positions that we talked about earlier. So what I heard was developer, architect, engineer, general contractor, because you need a realtor, I'm going to put that out there, realtor, contractors or subcontractors, and maybe like a financial team, grant writing. Are there any other positions that you feel that you need connections with? I love the silence. It's amazing.
Just a quick question. Did you mention anything about financing institution? You said that?
Oh, a lender, like
A lender? Okay, sorry. I
Yeah,
missed it.
that's good. That's pretty important, especially since you say it's all about the money, right?
It helps.
Okay, so that is the list that I just read. Okay. And I will re-put this. How we'll work is I will split everyone up into a group. Clarice is just listening, I believe. And Laura is just listening. So I will hang out with those two, but the rest of you will be one-off. What I would like for you to do is get onto the internet or use your resources and your individuals that you already know. For the next 5 to 8 minutes, we're going to fill this out and put multiple individuals that will be able to fill in this development role. And Andrea, I think you said earlier, like project manager, right? Like a project manager. So who else? And then the second part of this is put them in order of how we need to contact them. All right. So who is what? And we're going to actually find them. So whether that is Google or your telephone roll or your contact list, we're putting people in there so that we can identify who is actually on your list of people. Does everybody understand? Yes. Jay's going to help because I feel like he has every single position. He is the position. Who does your architecture? Like, who are you, the architect too, Jay? I feel like you bought one spec home design and then all of a sudden it's you're set for the rest of the time. Oh, you're muted, Jay. Wait, you're muted, Jay, so we can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
You're
No,
fine.
I did take engineering in college, but
Oh,
no, I
gosh.
have a couple good architects I work with.
Awesome. So then what we'll do is we'll all come back and we will share what we found, okay? So those individuals that introduce themselves outside of Clarice and Laura, we will split you up into those groups. Give me 1 second to remember how to do it. And 1, 2. All right. Okay, they should be able to get this going here. Okay, sorry, I'm having to navigate. I love this is my favorite part. Okay. Okay, you should be going to your rooms. I will resubmit what this looks like because I don't think the chat will go over. So see you in about 5 minutes.
Are you still there, Angel?
Laura and Clarice, are you okay with waiting for the reports, or would you like to participate in a room?
No, I'm good. I forgot this was recording. Otherwise, I was just going to chat with you.
Oh, yes, it is recording. Well, I can stop recording it for a moment. Hold on one second. And we're back. All right, everybody's coming in. I am putting in the chat a link in the chat is to a Google Doc, and you were able to add your contacts in there. I heard some great conversation and some individuals. So if we want to just navigate through this contact list and share what we found in order to make sure that everybody has all the info. So developers, did anybody come to the consensus that maybe they don't want to be the developer and that they actually want to develop with somebody else? Because that's an option. Or that you could be a co-developer or create a development company and not necessarily just have it on your own, because the developer is responsible for the viability of the land, the infrastructure, the setbacks, all of those types of things. You would want to make sure that you feel equipped and ready to take on that challenge. So for developers, did you name yourself? What did you do? What did you put in there?
I named myself.
Nadra says challenge accepted. Andrea, earlier you said you weren't the developer. Do you feel like you're more of the developer now?
I'm a redeveloper.
All right, if that's what you want to start with, that's great.
That's a great idea, though. Taking old hotels and make them into what you're doing. That's a great idea.
We say that the person that's taking the greatest risk is the person that is the developer. And you, my friend, are taking on the majority of that risk. So you're the developer or the redeveloper. Okay. All right, architects, who do we have?
Guillermo said B2 Lab was really good.
Yeah, Brad.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I just posted it in that Google Doc. Are we read them off?
If you post it in there, I'll just open it up. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Mhm.
And you can add in here, see the anonymous animals in there. But yes, we have Barbara Ingram, Rare Bird Innovations, Ali Pointer, Tack and Benson, Dan Bolt, Advanced House Plans. And I think I heard you overheard you saying, Jay, that the Advanced House Plans does residential and he's able to make alterations to one-stop projects or whatnot.
Yes. Yep. Done many
So-
for me. Does a good job.
So that's pretty important because not do you have to buy new prints for everything, but they would probably be able to change it according to the lot needs and so forth. So that's
Right.
great.
Yeah, a stock plan rarely ever works totally. Sometimes there's always some alterations that need to be made.
True statement.
Mhm.
Rich Onken.
Yes.
Another person that I will add, or at least a resource that I will add, is the Omaha by Design playbook. They did an affordable housing playbook, which does provide some opportunities for smaller lots or their required setbacks that are east of 72nd Street. So that's a good resource to have if you are doing residential build out. It's the affordable housing. For engineering, TD2, I've heard great things. Earhart Griffin, Lamont Epp, Morrissey. Is there anything else we want to add to that?
Yeah, you can put Darren Sparling. I got his number if you want to put it on there to help you.
Ooh, yeah.
402-610-2428. He's he's been helping me out with residential engineering. A lot of times you need a certain beam, you know, people want to open up their house a little bit more, and he's the one that can come out and give you the information and come out within,
he
you
a
know, a few days
structural
notice.
A structural
Structural, yes.
engineer, structural,
Mhm. Yeah, so that, I'm sorry, that goes down under engineer.
yeah. Well, just
And the
some of
rest-
these are different, like, yeah,
Yeah, are the rest of these civil, I'm assuming?
yes, yes.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
So most are civil engineers, but Darren's a structural engineer.
Got it.
And Lamont Epp is a structural engineer as well.
Okay.
But yeah, he's helped with anything from residential to helping design a storm shelter on retrofitting a building, so he's good to work with.
Nice.
I do have another contact that I'll add. I'll organize this a little bit. Ebris Group. I think they're actually based out of Waterloo, but they do a lot of work in Omaha proper. Okay, general contracting coming in hot. Davis Contracting, as they should. J&J Construction, Luna Construction, 14C LLC. I don't know who that is. Whose contact is that?
That's Bo. He built one of the houses on Parker Street as well. Actually, he did
Oh,
the two
yes.
small ones.
Oh, the next door, the one
Agency,
next to you.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. Realtors, always nice. Oh, somebody put my name on there. So sweet. Jay, you're hilarious. Your name's not even on there. That cracks me up even more.
I do too many things probably. I'm wearing my fireman outfit right now too, so I'm like, that's maybe.
I'm actually a realtor too, so.
I
I'll
hope
add
they don't have
myself.
to call you Jay.
Yeah, right.
I hope you just get to sit there and look nice in your fireman outfit.
There we go.
Financial and grant writer. I hear there was great conversations here about Brittany, and I love that Katrina's name is on here. She is actually one of the individuals that just broke ground for the Native Omaha building off of 24th and Laird. So she was able to assist with, I believe that project received CDBG grant funds and TIF funds, and I was actually on the team that helped to do the RFP for that. So those are great contacts. Client relationship manager, Dave Rossacker and Blair Freeman Group, perfect. Lender, I3, Dundee, yes, all of the above. These are great individuals. That's fantastic. You will have this link. I will keep it open for another day or two. I will organize it a little bit. Andrea and Guillermo, is there anybody else that you wanted to add to this?
I mean, most of them are good. For general contractor, we're gonna be using a company called Seneca. I think they're based out of Des Moines, but they do like the Casey's stores.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
more of a, commercial builder, but they can work in multiple states. So.
You also have access to this, so please continue to add if you need to. What we tend to do is then put it out there when we have events. We invite all of these individuals because we want people to get to know them. One of our favorite things is to increase capacity, social capacity. So now you all know that Jay makes awesome things happen, and hopefully you've made some good connection there, and kind of go from there. All right.
Angel, where is this link gonna be? Sorry, I just want to make sure, because I'm on my phone right now.
Oh, right. So I will send it out in after this, I will send the recording. I will send the link for our evaluation for the session, and I will send this link out for you.
Oh, so
within
email.
the next couple of days via email.
Okay, got it.
So as long as you register, we were able to capture your email address, and we will send out to whoever registered.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay, I just have one last thing. Of course, I want all of you to have your answers to your questions that you may have. But if you could participate in this post-session copy for me. Same questions. Just want to see if there's any type of increase. I'm actually trying to figure out how to best evaluate our our learning and benchmarks. And I like this. So these were just easy questions. Look at absolutely. Oh my goodness. You all make me feel so special up in here. I love it. This is great. That's what we want. Other than that, I will do the spiel for Spark. Spark is a nonprofit that acts as an intermediary. Oh man, see, I just gotta I'm about to do it right
All
now.
right, if you would have given it to me later, I would say absolutely.
Shoot, that means I need to wait till the end.
Right, right.
No, that's perfectly fine. But Spark is a nonprofit that serves as a intermediary that connects other individuals within certain aspects of communities and having prosperous and thriving communities. So we have two actual lanes. Our Spark focuses on just the capacity building and technical assistance of what community needs. So right now there's a huge push on affordable housing. So of course we have our hand in that for advocacy, for information. We were able to host information sessions about ARPA dollars. And if there was any type of initiatives happening where anti-displacement. We also do a lot of community work through our Fabric Lab, which is an urban design space that provides an opportunity for residents and community members to come in and express and to interact with each other to build back community and have ownership of what's happening. So Clarice is part of that urban development coordination there. So there's a slew of events and also the North Omaha Trail, which starts kind of at 24th and Ohio. It's about a 2-mile trail that has been worked on by our team members, Manny Cook, and that's one of the initiatives that things of what brings community all together in the basis of all the pieces that make community community. And that's transportation, wayfinding, placemaking, community leadership, affordable housing, housing in itself, education, all of those pieces. We also have another arm called Spark Capital, which houses our developer academy. Which focuses on real estate development. It's a week-long experience that allows for our partners in the National Development Council to come in to teach very intensive curriculum. But then we also have Guillermo Diaz, who is our developer capital coach, who facilitates our loan fund, which is usually about $5 or so million, but we have actually been deploying out those funds. And we also have a big push on middle income workforce housing coming up soon in order to deploy funds that are generally between up to $500,000 to $600,000 at a time. So we are the gap in between the different capital stacks that individuals have throughout that time. So that's a little bit about Spark. We're catalytic in nature, meaning we do all sorts of things. We kind of listen to the community and then we push forward and advocate for what the community needs. We don't usually own anything ourselves. We are collaborators in spirit. So with my background in real estate and my love for education, Spark kind of aligns both of those two to present capacity building opportunities for everyone else. Does that help a little bit? We actually are accepting applications. It was in the chat before through March. And we will go through selection in order to have our Developer Academy at the last 2 weeks of April, which include a capstone, which will occur. For all of you who went through Developer Academy, we are giving them 2 weeks this time to prepare their capstones, but everybody in our portfolio would be welcome to join. Any questions about Spark or any other questions about today? I love the moments of silence. They say you have to do it, otherwise adult learners won't say anything. Well, I am very appreciative of you taking this time out. If you ever need anything, you don't have to go through the Developer Academy in order to receive services from Spark. So if there is a project that you're looking for or that you're trying to learn more about the areas that we serve or some vernacular that we use that you just don't understand or would like to learn more about, we are here for you. And that's what we are here for, is to build capacity so that everybody is leaning towards a shared language, especially around real estate development. So thank you
Real
so
quick,
much.
one quick
Oh,
question, I'm sorry. On
mhm,
for the Developer Academy, that is gonna be in person?
yeah,
and then-
so this cohort, the first week, April 17th through the 21st, will have noon sessions via Zoom. And then the next week will be all day, 8 to 4 in person at the Mastercraft building.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have quite a bit of applicants and right now?
Lots of
Quite a few.
questions and concerns and like, do I put in the application, that type of thing. We probably have about 10 applicants right now.
Okay, all right,
Yep.
thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
It's not a question, but the Developer Academy, you make your money back in like the first half day.
Well, that's good. Thanks for being an advocate there, Laura.
Yeah, it's true.
Mhm. I was a part of the first cohort and I'm very grateful. So. Jay, please be careful for the rest of your shift today. Thank you so much for joining us. And then hopefully we'll be able to get you to one of our socials and intertwine you with all the rest of our developers.
Yeah, I
Any other
appreciate it.
questions?
Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order? If you're okay with it, I'll give you back 10 minutes of your day. And have an amazing day. Thank you all.